In today's video, Jungkook Lovers brings you a story that has armies around the world buzzing with excitement. Imagine this, an exclusive hall filled with elite guests, cameras flashing non-stop, and the intense atmosphere of a high-end Balenciaga fashion show. But everything changes the moment one figure steps onto the runway and steals the entire spotlight. Jungkook of BTS, with his confident stride and unmatched masculine aura, makes the runway feel like it's trembling beneath him. His appearance this time is on a whole new level, bolder, darker, and more powerful than anything we've seen before. Many fans are already calling it Jungkook's most iconic fashion moment yet, and the reactions from photographers and VIP attendees say it all. But what really happened behind this electrifying moment? Why is everyone talking about Jungkook's striking Balenciaga look? And what could this bold style mean for his future in the fashion world? Watch until the end, because you won't believe the surprising details we uncovered. No one expected the night to unfold the way it did. The Balenciaga venue, an industrial cathedral of steel beams, blinding spotlights, and echoing footsteps, was already buzzing with energy long before the first model touched the runway. Celebrities whispered into champagne glasses, fashion critics scribbled assumptions into their notebooks, and photographers fought for the most strategic angle like soldiers in a quiet war. Everyone thought they knew what to expect, everyone thought it would be just another show, everyone thought the highlight of the night would be a new silhouette, an unexpected fabric, or a fresh twist on the fashion house's signature dark aesthetic. But all of that changed in less than 3 seconds, not when the lights dimmed, not when the music shifted, but the moment one unmistakable silhouette appeared behind the fog of the backstage curtain, broad-shouldered, steady, and carrying an aura so intense it made even the front-row VIPs lean forward instinctively. A murmur spread like wildfire, whispers first, gasps next, then complete, frozen silence. Because the figure stepping onto the runway wasn't just anyone. It was Jungkook, BTS's golden magne, the global superstar who breaks records simply by breathing. But tonight, he wasn't the Jungkook the world thought it knew. Tonight, he was something else, something darker, something sharper, something that made even the fashion elites question whether they were witnessing a performance, a transformation, or the unveiling of a new era of celebrity influence. The first step he took sent shivers across the polished floor. At least that's what many insisted later. Some fans claimed the runway itself trembled. Others said it was the audience's gasp that shook the room. A few joked online that maybe the earth simply knew Jungkook was entering a new chapter and decided to vibrate in approval, but the truth was simpler, yet far more powerful. Jungkook walked with a presence no one in that room had ever experienced. His outfit, curated by Balenciaga's most secretive team, was a masterpiece of masculinity and dystopian elegance. A long black coat with razor-sharp structure. Glossy textures that swallowed the light and reflected it back in lethal glimmers. Heavy boots that announced every step with authority. And the mask, sleek, metallic, silent, turning him into a mysterious force rather than a familiar face. He wasn't just wearing fashion, he was the fashion, the embodiment of Balenciaga's darkest dream, the kind of presence that doesn't ask for attention, it demands it, and the world obeyed. Phones rose in unison, cameras clicked like they were documenting history. Stylists and designers exchanged looks they never exchanged for anyone else. Even celebrities known for their flawless confidence leaned back in disbelief. What was he doing here? Why this look? Why this timing? Why this particular runway? The questions multiplied faster than the flashes, and yet Jungkook kept walking, calm, cold, steady. Some say he wasn't performing the runway, he was commanding it. Some say he wasn't modeling, he was declaring war on everything predictable. Some say he had become a symbol of rebellion, of evolution, of artistic fearlessness. Balenciaga had never looked so alive. His charisma wasn't loud, it wasn't playful, it wasn't the bright, mischievous Jungkook fans see in variety shows or streams. No, this was the Jungkook that rarely appears, the Jungkook hidden beneath layers of stage persona, fandom expectations, industry rules, and the fragile image idols are told to maintain. Tonight, he tore away every boundary and replaced it with a single message: this is who I can be. And you're not ready. But that was only the beginning, because while the world was frozen in awe, something else was happening behind the runway. Something no one expected. Something that would change the interpretation of this night entirely. A secret movement backstage. A reaction from the Balenciaga creative team. A certain guest's surprising expression. A whisper exchanged between two global fashion editors. A sudden shift in tone that would later ignite the biggest theory storm ARMY has ever created. And yet, no one watching the runway knew. Not yet. All they knew was that Jungkook, the superstar known for vocals, dance, and global influence, had just entered the world of high fashion like a storm. But the real mystery was this: what was the meaning behind the look? Why this mask? Why this energy? Why now? Of all times, rumors began forming even before he finished his first walk. Some said it was a sign of a new fashion collaboration, some guessed a secret project with Balenciaga, some whispered it signaled a massive solo rebranding in 2026. Others thought it was a narrative, Jungkook revealing a stronger, darker, more unstoppable version of himself. But the real answer was buried deeper, much deeper, and only a few people in the room saw the moment that hinted at the truth. A moment no camera caught directly. A moment that would become the center of speculation for weeks. A moment that involved Jungkook and someone sitting in the front row, someone who reacted differently than everyone else, someone whose expression didn't show shock, but recognition. As if they already knew this version of Jungkook was coming. As if they were waiting for it. As if the runway trembling was only the beginning of a larger story the world wasn't prepared to hear. The music thumped through the hall like a heartbeat, slow, heavy, hypnotic. Jungkook walked the runway with a precision that felt almost unreal, as if every step had been calculated not by choreography, but by destiny itself. The audience watched, breathless, trying to decode the meaning behind every movement of his boots, every small turn of his head, every second the spotlight clung to him. But while the cameras focused on Jungkook, something else, something incredibly subtle, happened in the crowd. It wasn't a scream. It wasn't a gasp. It wasn't even a whispered comment. It was a reaction so small that only a handful of people caught it. A woman in the front row, dressed immaculately in a charcoal suit, with a sleek bob cut and eyes like sharpened obsidian, slowly leaned forward the moment Jungkook stepped into the light. Her posture changed almost imperceptibly, like a predator recognizing something familiar in the dark. She didn't blink, she didn't smile, she didn't whisper to the person beside her. She simply watched Jungkook the way someone watches a secret finally revealing itself. Some people later speculated that she was Balenciaga's shadow consultant, a figure rarely seen publicly, known only by rumors and initials. Others claimed she was a representative from one of the top fashion houses in Paris, scouting for new ambassadors. A few even believed she was connected to a project Jungkook had been hiding for months. But the truth, no one knew. No one could confirm, and her expression raised more questions than answers. Why did she react as if she had been waiting? Why did her hand tighten around the notebook on her lap? And why did she exhale, not in shock, but in satisfaction? It was as if Jungkook stepping onto the runway wasn't a surprise to her at all. It was confirmation. That tiny detail would later explode online, spawning theories faster than wildfire. But in this moment, only a select few noticed. The rest of the audience was consumed by Jungkook's aura, unaware that a silent storm was brewing right in front of them. Backstage, a flicker of tension while the crowd stared at Jungkook. Backstage was an entirely different world. Behind the curtains, assistants rushed like panicked birds, designers whispered urgently into microphones, and stylists kept glancing at a monitor that showed the live runway feed. Something wasn't right, something subtle, but unmistakable. A stylist with trembling fingers muttered, "He looks different tonight. This isn't the Jungkook we rehearsed with."